poem shall be Le Cancre by Jacques Prévert, performed by Luca. With the publication of his book Paroles in 1945, Jacques Prévert became France's most popular poet of the 20th century. He was also an innovative screenwriter who helped create some of the most influential French films. His satirical attacks on rigid French education and the Catholic Church and other institutions of authority expressed France's post-war disillusionment and defiant spirit. Jacques Prévert wrote a lot of poems about school life and kids who work with strict and boring teachers and wish for liberty. Le Cancre is one of them.
Il dit non avec la tête, mais il dit oui avec le cœur. Il dit oui à ce qu'il aime, il dit non au professeur. Il est debout, on est question, et tous les problèmes sont posés. Soudain, le fruit l'écran, il efface tout. Les chiffres, les mots, les dates, les phrases et les pièges. Malgré les menaces du maître, sous le haut des enfants prodiges, avec des craies de toutes les couleurs, sur le tableau noir de malheur, il désigne le visage du bonheur.
The next poem you will be hearing is called Don Dinero, Francisco de Quevedo, performed by Felicidad. This poem, by one of the most remarkable Spanish Baroque poets, Francisco de Quevedo, in a satirical way approaches the question of money as one of the most powerful means that have influence over humans, making the sharp critique of the Spanish society of the 17th century. The money is personified in a figure of a surname Don Dinero, where the poet in a very skilled way says where Mr. Money comes from, what social privileges and honors he can afford to those who walk hand by hand with him, no matter what their original and social status is. Although it is written in the 17th century, even nowadays, this great poem has not lost its tropicality.
Madre, yo ahora me humillo, él es mi amante y mi amado, pues de puro enamorado, anda continuo amarillo, quien pues enamorado hace todo cuanto quiero, poderoso caballero es don dinero. Nace en las Indias honrado, donde el mundo le acompaña, y viene a morir en España, y es en Génova enterrado, pues quien le trae al lado es hermoso aunque sea fiero, poderoso caballero es don dinero. Son sus padres principales, y es de noble descendiente, porque en las venas de oriente todas las sangres son reales. ¿Y quién pues hace igual al rico y aporte a ser? Poderoso caballero es don dinero.
Next poem is Mi adoro de Tina Mama by Grigore Vieru, performed by Dragomir. Grigore Vieru was a Moldovan poet and writer. He is mostly known for his poems and books for children. His poetry is characterized by vivid natural scenery, patriotism, as well as a venerated image of the Sacred Mother. Vieru wrote in the Romanian language. In this poem, he recalls all the things he misses about his mother.
Sub stele trece apa, cu lacrimă de-o seamă, mi-e dor de ta privire, mi-e dor de tine, mamă. Măicuțo, tu, grădină, cu flori, cu nuci și miere, a ochilor lumină, văzduhul gurii mele. Măicuțo, tu, vecie, nemuritoare gardă, de dor și umenie, și cântec fără moarte. O dupa pom cuprinde, și frunză o destramă, mi-e dor de tale brațe, mi-e dor de tine, mamă. Tot cascăle o vierne cu vifuri în coamă, mi-e dor de vorba-ți caldă, mi-e dor de tine, mamă. O stea mi atinge fața, ori poate ta năframă, alb, bătrân aproape, mi-e dor de tine, mamă.
Herre und Herrin, Richard demo performed by Sonia and Lan. In this beautiful love poem, man and woman speak to each other. They express their deepest fears, but also give promises to each other. They believe in their love, they believe in their future together. Please welcome them on stage.
Bist, kann ich dich beschweren. Errege nicht mein leicht erregtes Blut. Da du so schön bist, kann ich dich nicht wehren, dass deine Hand zu lang in meine ruht. Da du so schön bist, muss ich dich begehren, denn alle Schönheit ist mir freies Gut. Da du so schön bist, kann ich dich zerstören, damit es nicht ein anderer tut.
Da du so stark bist, kannst du mich zerstören, wenn dir die Tat nicht selbst zu weh tut. Da du so stark bist, darfst du mich begehren, doch meine Schönheit bleibt mein freies Gut. Da du so stark bist, musst du mir beschwören, dass du beschützen wirst mein schutzlos Blut. Da du so stark bist, will ich dich nicht wehren, dass deine Hand in meiner ruht.
Now we will welcome Mina to stage. She will perform Do Not Stand on My Grave and Weep. Although it has been questioned, most believe the poem Do Not Stand on My Grave and Weep was written by Mary Elizabeth Fry in 1932. Little is known about the author, and it was a mystery as to who even wrote the poem until late in the 20th century. Despite the mystery, Do Not Stand on My Grave and Weep went on to become very popular. This poem has been recited many times at funerals since it brings a sense of relief to mourners and more comforting view of death.
Do not stand in my grave and weep. I am not there, I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the dying glints on snow. I am the sunlight in reaping grey. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift, uplifting rush of quiet birds in circle flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand in my grave and cry. I am not there, I did not die.
The next poem will be Le ciel est par-dessus le toit by Paul Verlaine, performed by Louisa. Paul Verlaine was considered as one of the greatest representatives of the fin de siècle, end of the century, in international and French poetry, and was associated with the symbolist movement. Verlaine can be almost infantine in his poetic manner. Still, while Verlaine is simple, naive, he has some of the subtlest music in French verse. And here we have the first description of the world which beauty and art illustrate, that the world is simple and various at the same time. This poem was written while Verlaine was in the prison after shooting Rimbaud. This poem is the clear look of a man conscious of his weakness and confesses his soul without gratification. It is a poetry of remorse and the desire for freedom and beauty in the world that surrounds us.
Le ciel est par-dessus les toits, si bleu, si calme. Un arbre par-dessus les toits berce sa palme. La cloche dans le ciel qu'on voit, doucement tente. Un oiseau sur l'arbre qu'on voit, chante sa plante. Mon Dieu, la vie est là, simple et tranquille. Cette paisible remets-là vient de la vie. Qu'as-tu fait, ô toi qui voilà, pleurant sans cesse? Dis, qu'as-tu fait, ô toi qui voilà, de ta jeunesse?
The next poem you will hear is 5 Ways to Kill a Man, which will be performed by Matthew. 5 Ways to Kill a Man by Edward Brock is a satirical poem composed in free verse that mocks the dehumanization of man. It focuses on the loss of humanity in man with every passing era. The poem describes in chronological order the many cumbersome ways that man has used to kill other human beings for his own selfish motives, beginning from the ancient times of the 20th century. Hence, by making a very strong statement in the poem, Brock urges mankind to speak up against his spiritual death and resurrect its dying humanity.
There are many cumbersome ways to kill a man. You can make him carry a plank of wood to the top of a hill and nail him to it. But for this, you require a crowd of people wearing sandals, a cock that crows, a cloak that is sagged, a sponge, some vinegar, and one man to hammer the nails home. Or you can take a length of steel, shaped and chased in the traditional way, and attempt to pierce the metal cage she wears. But for this you need English trees, white horses manned with bows and arrows, at least 2 flags, a prince and a castle to hold your banquet in. Dispensing with nobility, you may, if the wind allows, blow gas at him. But for this you need a mile of mud, sliced through with ditches, not to mention black boots, bomb craters, more mud, a plague of rats, a dozen songs, and some round hats made of steel. In an age of airplanes, you may dispose of your victim by pressing one small switch. All you then require is an ocean to separate you, 2 systems of government, a nation of scientists, several factories, and a psychopath. These are, as I began, cumbersome ways to kill a man. Simpler, direct, and much more neat is to see that he's living somewhere in the middle of the 20th century and leave him there.
The next poem we shall hear is Jan Erik Vold Taver, performed by Zoe. Jan Erik Vold is a Norwegian lyric poet, jazz vocal reciter, translator, and author. He was a core member of the so-called Profil generation, the circle attached to the literary magazine Profil. He has contributed greatly to the renewal of Norwegian poetry and created interest in lyrical poetry. Jan Erik Vold is currently living in Stockholm. Vold's poem, Taver, Take Care, explores the infinite theme of the importance of friendship in our lives. The poet invites us to realize how we should give love and affection to our friends on any kind of day, and how there is no greater purpose to life than simply being kind and taking care of one another. Human life is short, but affection and tenderness we have given resonant forever.
På vänner ta vare, på vänligheten vis gärna. Litt selv om du kan. Dagen er grønn, dagen er hvit. Det er ikke annet enn livet det her. Vi er alle borte. Nå eller om litt. Take it easy, menneske. Men take it. Det er ikke annet enn virkelighet. Vet du, snart er 101 inne. Snart er 101 ute. Jeg sier, vennligheten varer lenger. Ta vare på vennligheten. Ta vare på vennene. Hei, hei. Ta nå vare på hverandre.
Now we will welcome Nathalie to stage, The Day Before You Came. The Day Before You Came is a song recorded and released by Swedish pop group ABBA. There are various interpretations of this song, some of which are rather sinister and oppressive. However, mostly it is seen as a beautiful retrospective love song, in which a woman reflects on her life the day before she met the man of her life. The The song is driven forward by an overwhelming sadness as she speaks of the mundane, unfulfilled life she used to live, only now being capable to understand its hollowness and meaningfulness.
I must have left my house at 8 because I always do. My train, I'm certain, left the station just when it was due. I must have read the morning paper going into town, and having gotten through the editorial, no doubt I must have frowned. I must have made my desk around 9:15, with letters to be read and heaps of papers waiting to be signed. I must have gone to lunch at 12 o'clock or so, the usual place, the usual lunch. And still, on top of this, I'm sure it must have rained the day before you came. I must have lit my 7th cigarette at 2:30. At the time, I didn't even notice I was blue. I must have kept on dragging through business of the day without really knowing anything. I hid a part of me away. At 5, I must have left. There is no exception to the rule. It's a matter of routine. I've done it ever since I finished school. The train back home again. Undoubtedly, I read the evening paper then. Oh yes, I'm sure my life was well within its usual frame. The day before you came. I must have opened my front door at 8 o'clock or so and stopped along the way to get some Chinese food to go. I must have had my dinner watching something on TV. There is not, I think, a single episode of Dallas that I didn't see. At 10, I must have gone to bed. I need a lot of sleep, so I like to be in bed by then. I must have read a while, the latest one by Marilyn French, or something in that style. It's funny, but I had no sense of living without aim. The day before you came. And turning off the lights, I must have yawned and cuddled up for yet another night. And rattling under the roof, I must have heard the sound of rain. The day before you came.
The following poem tonight is Dosadna Pesma by Miroslav Mika-Antić, performed by Igor. Miroslav Mika-Antić was one of the best children's poets. He said once in the interview that he read many writers and they all contributed to his writing, but only some of them had stayed true to themselves. In children's literature, for example, he was never disappointed with Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. In his work, Antić, like Exupéry, shows how valuable are little things that adults do not even notice. In this poem, he writes about a boy who thinks how everything is boring except girls, and he doesn't want to grow up.
da ne znam šta ću. Kad izlazim iz škole, nakrijem kapu na levo oko i pobijem se sa trojicom. Bar da me vide devojčice. Devojčice su smiješno stvorenje. Dugonoge, okrugle, pelove i kratkovide. I mnogo lažu i ogovaraju. I pišu ljubavna pisma koje mi stave pod klupu. Meni je sve to dosadno. Ipak, pročitam pisma, najlepše reči prepišem ako zatreba, a od ostatka pravim papirne lađe, papirne ptice, slanike, žabe i kobajagi se igram. A tako mi je dosadno. Dosadno mi je da porastem, da nosim tesne cipele, da se oženim. Oni koji porastu, prvo se danima mrze, onda se danima svađaju. Jedino mi je žao moga tate. Da je ostao dečak kao ja, baš bismo divno mogli da se družimo i da zajedno budemo zaljubljene u nastavnicu istorije. Sve ostalo mi je dosadno. Toliko mi je dosadno da ne znam šta ću. Kad izlazim iz škole, nakrijem kapu na levo oko i pobijem se sa još trojicom. Čak i kad nema devojčica.
Let's welcome Nikita with his poem Le Prénom de Paris by Jacques Brel. Jacques Brel was a Belgian singer, songwriter, and actor who composed and performed literature, thoughtful and theatrical songs that generated a large devoted followers in Belgium and France, and later throughout the world. He was widely considered a master of the modern chanson. Brel's boundless enthusiasm towards life is an inexhaustible energy, and his respect for ordinary people remained unforgettable. He became a major influence in English-speaking songwriters and performers such as David Bowie and Leonard Cohen. In this poem, Brel reveals all the faces of artists.
Le soleil qui se lève et caresse les toits. Et c'est Paris le jour, la scène qui se promène, qui me guide du doigt. Et c'est Paris toujours, et mon corps qui se rêve, sur ton corps qui sourit. Et c'est Paris bonjour, et ta main dans ma main, qui me dit déjà oui. Et c'est Paris l'amour, le premier rendez-vous, à l'île sans nuit. C'est Paris qui commence, le premier baiser, volé aux Tuileries. Et c'est Paris la chance, le premier baiser, reçu sous un portail. Et c'est Paris romance, et deux têtes qui tournent en regardant Versailles. Et c'est Paris la France, des jours que l'on oublie, qui oublie de nous voir. Et c'est Paris l'espoir, la tendresse.